What's up, my loves? It's your girl Diamond, and I'm back with my own new review of Love and Marriage Huntsville. Let's get into it. So we start off with Tisha and Marcel. They are keeping up with the consistency of having date nights, date day, so they have one at Black. And in the conversation of them meeting up with each other, I actually liked Letitia's two-toned hair. It looked really cute on her. She wanted to know where was Jalen and the other worker. Jalen's on his way, and he said, got to keep the cougars tamed because Jalen likes older women, which led to Tisha bringing up that Marcel, no Martell, is the new cougar tamer. Cause word on the street, he's in Stray Whitfield, but I'm looking at the age range. Is it really a cougar? How old is Sheree? In her early 50s, and Martell's in his late 40s or early 40s, I guess. I don't know. Maybe it's a good 10-year age gap, maybe, but sure. So he already wanted to stop her from saying that, but then with her mentioning Martell, he mentioned how, oh, Mel stopping by for a conversation. She said, what? What you mean? Mel stopped by for a conversation. Why? Because he had a conversation with Mark about keeping certain things off of social media with them moving forward as a group. But she said, you invited her today? Yeah. So he said he gave her the invite to drop by at any time, and she said she can come today. And he said, sure. So you decided to have a meeting with Mel on the same day as you're having a date night with Tisha. So she is in her feelings. You know, she has a different tone, saying how you shouldn't be texting her, and he wanted to cover up with my assistant texting her. Nice save, Marceau, and how it should be a group text. I didn't understand what the group text was supposed to be, but I guess since they did have a group meeting about how they deal with Miss Wanda and other people coming in, so yeah, I guess having a group chat would have been a much better, outcome, and that way everybody should be in attendance or everybody should be in the know of what's going on. She found it disrespectful. Okay, he's like, what do you mean it's disrespectful? Why is it disrespectful? When you had your conversation with Martell, I didn't find disrespectful. She said, no, it was about business. Tisha, it was supposed to be about business, but you were talking about Mark and Miss Vanessa with Martell. But, excuse me, I don't see the difference. And she's going off how you don't need to be texting her about personal business and this and that and the third. And, she's like, we're not friends. We're not cool. She said, I'm her enemy. So he's like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I thought that you guys had a good time in Destin. No, we're not. I felt as though Tisha was giving me, she knows that her husband doing something inappropriate and she's looking stupid. Now, when she says that, talking about Mel called me her enemy, he's like, I thought we were past that. Like, we just went to dinner and then we went to Destin and said, yeah, because Martell invited us. But at the same point in time, Tisha, you had no problem barging in on Mel's vacation. You think that Mel was okay with you coming in ruining her vacation because Martell said to come? No, 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 no. See, Martell and Marceau are doing the exact same thing, but you're blaming Mel for it. Martell thought that Mel would be okay with you guys coming over, and she wasn't, and she expressed that to him, just like how you're expressing to Marceau, you shouldn't be texting her about anything. But the reason that he's doing it is to keep up with everybody being on um their guidelines and their, agreements to not go on social media. You know what I'm saying? So he figured you guys were in a cool setting because y'all had a good time in Destin, and y'all did. He figures that's us to move forward. I mean, I don't see how that's not going to work. I don't know. So he's confused. How is it that we get to here, we get to here? You know what I'm saying? Now, he's feeling like, I want to understand something. I'm at a place where I'm cordial with somebody, which means I can invite them to places, I can talk to them. She says no. And I feel like Tisha can be cordial with people she's at odds with, and she can move forward and be in a good space. But when it comes to Mel, she will always not have it for her. I think she'll do it to any. I really do think that anything that involves Melody, Tisha will have a problem They're going back and forth. She's saying, "You're not listening to me." And then he calls her a jealous wife. And that pissed her off. She said, "Don't play with me. I'm not fucking jealous of anything. I don't do that." He's still looking confused because he's like, "I was disrespectful for what I'm doing right now." Or if cordial meant you're cordial, he said, "That's not, I'm not being fake." Oh, no, he tells her, "That's not being fake. Stop acting like you guys are good when you're not good. You still got anger inside of you," which she does because Tisha never lets things go. And she says, "You're not listening to me. Because I'm telling you, it is disrespectful what you're doing and you're not listening to me." I'm telling you, I'm going off with this in two ways. One, it was disrespectful of Marceau to invite Mel on a night where he's supposed to be spending quality time with his wife. That was wrong. And for Tisha, Tisha is reading too much into Marceau texting Mel. I'm pretty sure this isn't the first time he texted Mel before. I mean, he called Mel when it came down to her and Martell having an argument. So that wasn't a problem then. And he's letting her know, "I kept my end of the bargain by letting my brother know he needs to stop talking about you and your mother. And I'm telling you right now, he's still saying some disrespectful things, but it's not coming from us. He's still doing it on his own, but it's not coming from us, so don't come at us." He's trying to keep the peace, but still making certain I'm not a part of that. So she's wondering, why do you need to talk to her? Are we going to have a conversation every time we need to have a talk? I don't know what's going on. Well, when it came down to you guys having that dinner the first time, they've been going out of town, going on vacations. There's been nothing negative. So he wants to still do his part. And, something's going to come out soon. And I'm letting her know it's not from us. I'm warning her to be on the lookout of what's going on. So what's the purpose of this meeting and blah, blah, blah. And apparently Mark was saying something new. And he wants to let her know. And I don't think Tisha wanted to hear that because she says her face when hearing that Mark said something new about Melody and Vanessa, she was like, "Damn, now you do gotta tell her." It's just like, Tisha, you look for ways to keep Mel in this space of getting read, getting called out, having nasty things said about her, which isn't good. Um, and how him and Martell was able to get to a good place. We were about to go to Melrose and we good. Now, he don't find a problem when she's meeting up with other people, but she finds him meeting with Melody was disrespectful. But he also recognized that while at that dinner, I remember seeing everybody else move on, but you and Mel did not move on. She said she don't care. How you don't care? She said, "I don't want to be cordial." He says being cordial means being friends. No, being cordial means I can be cool with you, I can hang out with you, but I'm not looking for a friendship. Or this is literally just a co-worker situation. He said, "What am I missing?" She says she only wants to be in that space with Mel if she has to. He said, "Well, too late. We have to," which means we can't have separate scenes anymore. We can't. And everybody's already been saying Marcel and Tisha having separate scenes is kind of boring. I mean, their last scene when they had a picnic in the living room talking about periods, it wasn't nothing. Information, but it wasn't nothing. Whenever you guys are in with the group, we get more. We get more tuned in. You guys have separate situations, it gets boring. So he's like, you're going to have to suck that up because we're on a reality show where we have to be around each other almost every other time. So he wants an understanding. He believes that her reaction is stupid. She said no, blah, blah, blah. And how Mel's going to be here because she wanted to be informed ahead of time. I don't know when Marceau talked to Mel earlier that day and she just got back to him that evening and he just now telling Tisha everything. So maybe he should have talked to her when it came down to him thinking about texting Mel to come by and have a conversation. Didn't think that it would have been that big of a deal that he said it on the same day as the date night. That could have been it. So she wants understanding. He's not understanding her. When he called her a jealous wife, that was a dig, which set her off. Going back and forth, and she wishes that it was in a different way. And then she brings up all the cheating allegations that Mel did. Tisha, you gotta let it go. And it wasn't Mel. Okay, Mel might have acted subtly by calling out that Marceau might have been doing something because he definitely was there with Martell doing something. And he didn't say nothing. He let it happen, continuously let it happen. And you can't blame all the allegations of Marceau cheating on you when Marceau plays in that narrative all on his own. And you gotta let that shit go. Just like how you let go of Martell saying that Marceau had 20 women. He's already apologized for that. You want to hear him and see him change and take it back and all this and that, the third. Why won't you do that to Mel? And Mel hasn't said nothing about you all season nor last season. But yet you still hold everything on Mel. You still blame everything on Mel as if you don't do nothing as well. Like you can miss me with that because Tisha, you playing that narrative too. You remember how you were so willingly to announce that there was a rumor going around that Melly had an affair with Martell and that Sugar Mama wasn't his? You repeated that at the grand opening, and you repeated that same information at the comeback dinner. So Tisha, you play on the narrative of rumors too, not just Mel. So again, going back and forth, they're not listening to each other, and I think that Marceau is tired of hearing about the allegations and the rumors about him and how Tisha is not letting it go. She keeps on bringing it up, which got him to be like, I'm done. I don't want to hear shit you talking about. And he walks off. That's why I wrote, I said, he's probably done with his conversations. But I feel like, Marceau, you're never going to get away from them had you just tell Tisha, it's not true. This is what happens when you're on TV. All we got to do is keep us, keep us in tune. But you still do things. You went to Africa without her. You got a vasectomy without her. It plays on that narrative that you've been doing some foul shit. Sorry. And you made Tisha look like a fucking fool. Which she knows who her husband is, but yet she won't give him that energy. She'll give it to somebody else. So he takes a breather and comes back and defends his position saying, I got you. I got you. You know what I'm saying? Let me work. Let me do this. Because he is constantly having to defend his position, and he thinks that Tisha wants him to behave the way that he should behave, which is being naive about what's been going on between him and Melody, because it's been some statements going around, and I've said them. I think when I was doing the third season, that Marceau got a little crush on Melody. And I feel like he does. I think he has a crush on her strength and her growth after a divorce. And I believe he's made quite a couple of compliments about her outfit on the third season. And he acts totally different when Melody's in the room and Tisha's in the room. But he wants to, give his wife that support, even though he doesn't want to do all this shit. But he just suck it up. So he's pleading his case, like I said before, saying, let me work. Let me do what I gotta do. I got you. You know I love you, right? And then he tells her that her way has never worked. Anything that she did, anything that she wanted to give her opinion on, it never worked, Marceau. Just like how she told you that Jalen should not have been promoted to a general manager when he doesn't know what a general manager does. Just because he bought a stake in the company doesn't mean he should be pushed up to a general manager. He should train under a GM, and when he's ready for that promotion, then he can go up because he has the experience. Tisha's had some good ideas that you've overlooked, that you did not want to hear. But she didn't like the fact that he called her jealous. I wouldn't like calling my wife jealous. And, saying how she was a jerk and this and the third. He apologized for it. But she doesn't want to be there no more. They're still going back and forth, blah, blah, blah. Day and night's over. The whole mood has been changed. She is ready to go home and be with her kids. And you can have your meeting by yourself. To be honest, though, I wouldn't have allowed for this to ruin my date night. But Marceau, why couldn't you have told Mel, actually, I did tell you to come at any time, but today is not a good day. How about come tomorrow? You didn't even do that. It's like you wanted to rush Tisha off to have this meeting with Mel to me. You wanted to gaslight Tisha into acting that way. Because to me, I felt 2 and 2. I feel like, Tisha, you're reading too much into it about him texting Mel. And Marceau, you know that anything that involves Mel is going to rub, is going to push her buttons. But she walks off, and I think he says if you weren't this thick, we wouldn't have this discussion. She's mad at him. Mad at him, mad at him, mad at him. Because I didn't like the fact that she keeps on putting the blame on Mel. But I'm like, girl, good night. So, Martell is scouting venues for his upcoming wine event they had in Atlanta. He's bringing it to Huntsville. Chris Fletcher's coming along so he can look at some places. The first place he saw was a little bit too country. He wants something more elegant and upscale. He's gonna look for something else. Going back to his wine event, remember Uncle Sam was there, and he didn't like the fact that his mom wasn't acknowledged for being the inspiration of the wine, and Uncle Sam was pissed. Okay, so his uncle held that grudge for a week. He called him and said, "Look, nephew, we family, we blood. I can't be mad at you for long. We good." So now he is going to incorporate more about his grandmother and involve other people in the family. After coming back home from vacation with Melody, there was all good. They're in a space where they can be nice to each other. That energy is positive. And of course, he has to keep on telling himself that she don't want him, he don't want her. Chris said, "You killed my hopes. I don't care about your hopes." You know what I'm saying? Just trying to move forward in a nice way. And you know how I just want the M&Ms to get back together. Chris, go buy you some M&Ms if that's what you want. Stop. This is why Melody gets so mad that the people in her friend group are always throwing out little subliminals or little statements of, "Do you think you guys can work it out? We give him another chance?" No. Stop. That's why she don't want to be pressured into doing things she don't want to do. For people to do this shit. Okay? They're not getting back together. Okay? So then he talked about Tisha and Marshall, how they made an appearance in Destin. They had a good time, had some conversation about accountability and this and that and the third. And he wanted to know when was the last time you spoke to Marceau. He said, "I haven't. I do need to talk to him because he wants to clear things up with Marceau." Remember, earlier this year, it went to the blogs, or yes, it was a picture. It was a picture of Marceau. No, sorry. It was a picture of a bare back and a big head. And everybody who covered that story was saying how that was Marceau's head because Chris said that him and Marceau was in Atlanta looking for properties, but it was only for a couple of hours. He left Marceau around 4. He didn't go to dinner with him. So he didn't like the fact that he was a part of that alibi that Marceau gave Tisha because Tisha pulled up to him on black because the picture that Miss Wanda showed her and all the little comments that was on YouTube and everything about how that's his bag. Where was you? Where was he? Is this your picture? Is this your bag? That's not a third. So he said, "Oh wow, so the rumor's still going out there about that's his bag." Yeah. So Chris is trying to eliminate himself. I wasn't with this man all day. No, I was with him for a couple hours and I left. And I think Chris also put it on his social media to cover up where he was. That's bad. Martell said out of his own mouth that social media is trying to paint Marceau a terrible guy, saying how he might have had outside children, had an affair. You know, having those rumors can hurt your partner, where she can start to believe those things, and a ton of issues can come out. Like you, Martell, that's what happened to you. There was information about how you having a mistress, information how you might have a child, which all came out to be true. But you saying how social media is portraying Marceau to be a horrible guy? No, that's Marceau. It doesn't take much for Marceau to be perceived as an asshole, a gaslighter, possible cheater, alleged. Like, it is not that hard. Marceau puts himself in those predicaments, okay? It's not social media. It's Marceau. Marceau having an issue with Tisha figuring out how to navigate between being a wife and a mother and a businesswoman. Marceau having an issue with what is Tisha's career. Are you kidding me? Marceau complaining to Mel. Like, are you kidding me? Marceau doing all this gaslighting and how he can say this and do this, but she can't do that. Like, Marceau does it to himself. How he portrays to be an asshole to Tisha, and how that can be perceived as him having someone else on the side allegedly. Good night, Martell. Shut up. So, where am I at? Oh yeah, Mel arrives at Black, and she wants to get this over with, okay? Because Marceau wanted this to be a much more longer conversation, a much more engaging conversation, because he talks about how we made an agreement to not talk about each other negatively on social media. He had a conversation with Mark because he has been overstepping his lines, overstepping that line a lot about Melody and her mother, and realized that this was the topic of the conversation. She said, okay, was there anything mentioned about me? Not you, but your mom and the relationship she had with Mark. Melly shut that down so quick and said, I don't want to talk about that. Was it anything said about me that I can address? Because I'm not addressing this. See, I'm a responder, not an initiator. So what is the purpose of this conversation that have anything to do with me? Which stumped Marceau that she quickly shut it down from having any type of conversation about Mark. If it's nothing about me, I don't want to talk about it. In that mindset, he's out of sight, out of mind. Okay. And then Marceau said, well, what I wanted you to respond is, thank you, Marceau, for keeping me informed about your brother and what he's been saying. Thank you, Marceau, for doing your part for keeping the peace and everything. And I'm just like, Marceau, how dare you? How dare you even think that you are in a space with Mel where she can find it funny, find it humorous, find it okay? That you come out of your mouth and say, well, Mel, I figured you would say, thank you, Marceau. Thank you for what? Doing what you were supposed to be doing? Telling your brother to not talk about these women who did nothing to him? Are you kidding me, Marceau? Good night and goodbye. Like, ew. Marceau, shut the fuck up. I'm sorry. Marceau just wanted to have a meeting with Mel. I'm sorry. I know that there's nothing going on between them. Melly don't want him, but Marceau was super eager to want to have a deep, engaging conversation with Mel, and she shut it down with, I don't want to talk about that. Next. But, she did say thank you for having that conversation. He said this is a step, of moving forward. It's a past, present, and future step moving forward because discussing your brother is not what I want to do. I don't really know much about him. I've only met him once or twice, so there's nothing to say. And he believes that the meeting he had with Mel was a step in the right direction, and now he wiped his hands clean of Mark. If anything goes on social media that has something to do with Melody and Vanessa, he said that he warned her. My brother's out here doing stupid shit. I'm warning you. He was really pleading his case that he wants to follow the peace and follow how we're not going on social media and talking about other people. So basically, she said if I had known beforehand what the topic of this conversation was, I should have declined. I would have been proudly declining on what the situation was because Marceau, you never told Melody what the topic was. You just said to come by because she was surprised of you wanting her to come by, and this was what you want to talk about. Yeah, you could have sent that in a text message, a voicemail. That's all you had to do. You want her to hop her ass down to black so you can see her because I'm sorry. You just wanted to have googly eyes for Mel. I'm sorry. Marceau, you not convincing other people that you don't have a little bit of a crush on Melody because we can see it. Because you were more engaging in this conversation than you were with Tisha. Sorry to say. But anyway, we're going to move on from that. Kimmy. Kimmy is inviting the original six to come over, tell us some news. Marcel's going to be cooking for her. It's a surprise. Tisha is still feeling away about what happened the other day. So yeah, he needs to cook. Want to know what they've been up to. So, like, Tisha and Marcel, they've been traveling. They went to Cabo and Dallas, and they made their way to Pensacola. Tisha is so fake. Her energy shifted. She was like, oh my God. Okay, so Marcel told me that Martell called him because he was in Destin with Mel. They was on a family vacation together, right? And we went up to see them, and it was so crazy. Like, Mel's energy was really, really good, you know? And, Martell was glowing, okay? He was. And he's like, really getting his hopes up. I was like, Tisha, help me understand this. You were about to rip Marceau's head off for texting her. But now, talking to Kimmy, you being all happy and high pitched that, in Destin, Mel was really good. Her energy was nice. It was so nice to see it. What? Girl, I can't keep up. I can't keep up. Is you is you cool with Mel or is you not cool with Mel? Did you mind it? Did you didn't mind it? Why are you so happy to announce that you were with them in Destin, but yet you had a problem with him texting her? Make that make sense. Why are you being so fake, Tisha? Keep that same energy. Where was that energy you had the other day where you was cussing Marceau out? I was with you with your energy, but where is this for this? What? Oh my God, I can't find the word. Tisha's so fake. That's all I gotta say. Tisha is fake. You know how they played a couples game and everything. So, Kimmy brought up how they became one accord at the first comeback dinner, which was a step in the right direction, which led to them taking a family vacation together. So, Kimmy talks about her journey going through breast cancer. It's her getting back to her mental health and realized that she cared about a lot of things. She been feeling positive, and they wanted to wait for the results, even though it scared her. But with every day of knowing what she has, she doesn't cry about it every time she talks about it. And I understood what them wanting to wait to get the results so they can have everything to talk about. But it was such a time clock to get everything. And how she has good days and bad days. And I think Marcel talked about how you can say the wrong thing to upset your partner. She said, "What happened?" Before I think Marcel can answer or something, Tisha immediately starts telling the story. I think she asked Maurice, "How would you feel if if you had a friend who called your wife an enemy? Would you have, met up with her and talked to her?" Kimmy cut off right then and there and said, "Well, listen, I told him before we got married that there will be no private lunches with any females, friends or no friends. You know what I'm saying? None of that stuff. But what if he told you before, she walked in?" Kimmy said, "I would deserve a heads up instantly." Instantly knew what she was talking about. You had lunch with Mel, but now let me say this though, Kimmy. I'm with you, right, but Maurice definitely never kept you in the loop on things that he was doing. I'm just gonna say that. But knowing that it was about Mel, teacher figure, why couldn't you have told them about your conversation with Mark at the group dinner? You knew we were gonna have one. Why couldn't you just tell them then? He couldn't answer it. He couldn't think of another reason to not have that conversation. It was a good point. Um, because he wanted to have a private moment with Mel. That's all I can say. He could have told them in a group since they wanted to discuss how they could move forward as a group. Yeah, that would have worked. Um, but that's pretty much where it ended off at that point, how he wanted to have a private moment with Mel. So Martell comes first in his hoochie daddy shorts and his penny loafers. Do you have tennis shoes, sir? You have regular pants. Anyway, um, I wanted to know what he missed before he got there. Marcel cooked, and then talking about him and Melly went on vacation together. It didn't take a lot for him to say yes. It was all about moving forward. Um, Though, yeah, then of course, Tisha, she brings up how the neighborhood's been talking. You got the YouTubers jumping. What's been going on, Martell? Kim said, "I heard you had a boo. You've been hanging out with Sheree." It's so funny, though, that you guys are so excited about somebody else's tea that's coming out, but yeah, you guys being y'all feelings when it's y'all tea. I'm just going to point that out there. I'm not saying nothing, but you guys definitely carry a different tune when it's not about y'all. But anyway, so of course they're asking questions. You know what I'm saying? How long have y'all been seeing her? How do you know her? He said through a mutual friend. I wonder who's the friend. And there are no labels, no titles on it yet. You know what I'm saying? But he was tight-lipped because Kimmy wanted to know what's going on. He said, "Stop, Kimmy, stop. What you mean? It's all over the internet. It's all over the internet. Why are you in the hot seat?" Um, it's because Melly was on her way over, and he doesn't want to talk about another woman in front of Mel. Oh. So Mel comes in this white dress, and ironic that Martell found that the dress that she wore could have been a sign that she remembered that today was their 15th wedding anniversary. Martell, only you would think that because you are constantly down memory lane every episode. Like you are giving Minnie Rippleton Back down memory lane. See us standing there. Such a happy, happy pair. Like, you are stuck in the past. And you're giving me the man who is so guilty of what he's done, he can't help but go back to the past. But anyway, um, so now Tisha and Mel, they was like, hi, how you doing with the whole hand hi. Tisha, you said you're not friends with her, but yeah, you can say hi. Fine. So Kimmy asked Melody, how are the kids? How they enjoying their summer? They're doing good. They love the summer. Martell, you could have asked me that, Kimmy. They at the house. But she said, Martell don't start. She didn't ask you. She asked me. Okay? Let's not start with the pettiness now. Of course, he carries on with the whole custody agreement, 7 days on, 7 days off. But it wasn't necessary for him to say, I got the kids, when she was directing that to Melody. So, um, Martell invited everybody, including the ladies, with the upcoming wine event, and the ladies are invited. His uncle is coming. So, with the invite, Tisha says, "Are plus ones invited?" He said, "Yeah, you can bring a plus one. You can." Melody, do you have a plus one? You can bring one. She said, "I have to look at my schedule for the 28th. Marceau, Tisha, and Martell were asking her more than once, does she have a plus one? If so, who are you bringing? She says she don't have a plus one and that she's going to check her schedule. I hated that they kept on asking her. Like, y'all really trying to start some mess right now. Why y'all so concerned about who she bringing? Because I heard that Martell's dating Sheree. Y'all looking for mess, and it wasn't cool for me. So she talks about having a good time on vacation, and some mess came about when Martell decided to share with Ariane that Mel got COVID and that his kids got sick, and she didn't like that he did that, which proves that he's still the same messy man that he's always been. In that instant, I wasn't mad at Mel because I remember when that came out, that Ariane was on her YouTube channel and she was blaming Mel for getting her child sick because Martell does bring his children around his other son. And I feel like, yeah, anything that Martell tells Ariane, she's gonna go straight to social media and talk shit about Mel. It don't take much. So Melody wasn't mad about the information being shared. It was you sharing it, period. Anything you share with this woman, she gonna go to her social media and talk shit about me, which is what she's been doing this entire time. It don't take nothing much for Ariane to go out to the internet and talk shit about Mel. It don't take much. This information, hence why when she did this, she had on her story a discount code called Double Sick because she was blaming Mel for getting her child sick. Didn't like that. So Kimmy thanks everybody for coming. Love having the original six with them. It's the comeback crew. This is the core of how they got together and how we always been there for each other throughout a lot. Marriage, divorce, childbirth, children, businesses. It's those moments that I miss. So she tells them that she was recently diagnosed with breast cancer. Martell and Melody's heart dropped. She started treatment. She was feeling emotional at Stormy's event, but she wasn't ready to talk about it yet till she got the results. But it's been a journey. She's handling it. It's been good. She wants to share with people that she loves. You know what I'm saying? Even though we don't be in a great place, we still show up for each other, and she loves that. And she felt like she owed them a conversation. They've been friends for so long, and Martell went out to hug her because he understands how that feels. His grandmother, who was inspired by his wine, passed away from cancer. It was a toll on him. And he said, Kim's a sweetheart, and she's going to beat this. Melody was shedding tears. She wasn't expecting this to come out, and she will be there for her. And also, Kimmy thanked Melody for checking in on her, but also giving her that space of not constantly checking in or not making it about her. That I'm texting you. Why are you not texting me back? You're not being a good friend to me. Melody didn't do that. She understood that Kimmy was going through something. She gonna talk when she's ready, but I'm letting her know that I'm here. That's what friends are for. She has her good days and bad days, but it's just a reflection of she loves her life and will not take anything for granted. And they all look at each other like that's why we became friends in the first place, and it is nice to see the original six have a good time, talk, mingle, laugh. This was the start of Love and Marriage Huntsville. And it's crazy that we got so much animosity and issues with each other that we have to, like, work through them. Excuse me. Because, they last hung out at that table was 4 years ago. And Millie had a question about gender roles and marriages and stuff like that. Tisha did not know having a gender role in her marriage before going in. What she had known before then, she don't know. So right now, that could be another conversation. Marcel said, let me get up. Wait, I want a question. Let me ask a question. No, let's go. Goodbye. Thank you. But it was nice. I'm not going to lie. It was nice seeing them come together. I want to know when will they keep that energy towards the next season. But yeah, that was it. That was the episode. It really wasn't much though, but it was a conversation we had. Next episode is gonna hit the fan. Okay. I also got the info about the reunion. It's gonna be a 3 part. It's gonna be starting December 31st, New Year's Eve, and I already saw a glimpse of the reunion. It's gonna be a mess. But y'all, that's it. That's all I have. Please stay tuned for the next video, and I'm gonna see you guys later. Bye.